Cronkite News, the Coyotes owner Alex Meruelo reportedly steps down. What we know about the future of the team.
Plus, the Florida Panthers lift the Stanley Cup trophy for the first time in franchise history.
And how the USA cricket team caught the attention of cricket around the world. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Katrina Villarreal.
And I'm Taylor Mazok. Thank you for joining us.
Just as the NHL is celebrating a Stanley Cup series won by another Sunbelt team, the Florida Panthers, the ups and downs of the future of the professional hockey team in Arizona continues.
PHNX Sports is reporting that Coyotes owner Alex Meruelo is ending efforts to reactivate the Coyotes franchise in Arizona. And Meruelo may be stepping down from the organization. Joseph Furtado is here to tell us what this all could mean for the future of hockey in the desert.
It was supposed to be the next great home of the Arizona Coyotes. The NHL gave Alex Meruelo 5 years to get a new home built for the Coyotes. A plot of land in the North Valley looked promising until the state land department canceled the auction for the land last week, leaving the Coyotes organization and fans frustrated.
Somebody better comes along. I hope that somebody can come and really put their heart into this game, because we're in the heat, we're in the desert. People don't even know we have hockey here.
Now with Meruelo reportedly stepping down from the organization, people we talked to involved in youth hockey at AZ Ice Peoria think we need to look to future generations for the survival of the sport here.
I think the biggest thing is going to be getting into the schools, getting into the kindergartens, first grade, second grades, the little kids, showing them hockey, showing them how cool the passion and the culture is of the game. And I think that's going to be our best bet to grow the game in itself.
Coyotes fans hope NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman sees all the blood, sweat, and tears Arizonans have put into hockey here and consider bringing an expansion team to the Valley.
We need somebody with the passion, the heart for not only these little athletes, but for the ones all let down from losing the Coyotes.
Go Coyotes!
The Tucson Roadrunners are still under the ownership of Meruelo and are an affiliate of the Utah Hockey Club. With reporter Rachel Masson, Joseph Furtado, Cronkite News.
As the Coyotes leave the Valley, the Florida Panthers captured their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. The Panthers needed all 7 games to defeat the Edmonton Oilers. After coming up 3-0 in the series, they saw the Oilers tie the finals, winning 3 straight games. Florida's Sam Reinhart scored the game winner late in the second period. After losing in the finals last year, the Panthers became the 3rd team in the last 40 years to win the Stanley Cup after losing in the finals. The Oilers nearly pulled off the remarkable feat of coming back after being down 3 games. Only 4 teams have done so in the NHL history. With the loss, a Canadian team has yet to win a title since 1993.
Back in Arizona, the Tucson Roadrunners announced on Monday that the team will not play games in Tempe at Arizona State's Mullet Arena. After the land auction that the Arizona Coyotes were hoping to win was canceled, the AHL hockey team decided to play all of its home games in Tucson. The team will play all 36 of its home games at the Tucson Arena, located in the Tucson Convention Center. The full 72-game AHL schedule releases in July. Fans who had already purchased tickets for the games at the Mullet Arena will be refunded this week, according to the Roadrunners.
After a disappointing season last year, the Phoenix Suns are looking to the NBA draft this week to find some answers. The Suns currently hold the number 22 pick in the first round of the 2024 draft. Some of the top prospects linked to Phoenix are Marquette point guard Tyler Kolek and Duke center Kyle Filipowski.
Players prepare for the draft years in advance, with hundreds of college coaches in attendance. Section 7 provides a platform for the nation's top high school basketball teams and players to showcase their skills. Section 7 gives the teams the chance to face elite competition they have never seen before, from 12 different states throughout the U.S. The tournament says this format forces teams to adapt quickly and test their game plan against an opponent they have not scouted.
It's interesting because you don't know the team you're playing. Most of the time you've never heard of them, and you can't game plan, so you just got to go out there and play. No matter what, you got to give it your all and see what happens.
It was a great experience. It was a big experience for our school, personally, because it's the first time we came out here trying to prove ourselves. And I feel like it was a great learning opportunity for us and to see where our team was at compared to across the country. So it was a great experience, great learning curve.
Coaches such as Arizona Wildcats head coach Tommy Lloyd and his staff were in attendance as players looked to impress.
Over at Chase Field, the Arizona Diamondbacks are looking to bounce back after a series loss to the Philadelphia Phillies as they take on the Minnesota Twins. Life won't be any easier for the Diamondbacks as the Twins are 43-35 after starting 7-13. Arizona is sitting at third in the National League West and is desperate for wins. The Diamondbacks will play the Twins 3 times this week and then will host the Athletics this weekend. You may have seen the sport of curling on TV during the Winter Olympics.
That's right, it's a popular sport in colder climates. But this unique sport is also being played right here in the desert.
Yeah, hello everyone, this is Regan Gala at the Cronkite Weather Center. Following the storm from last night and all the dampness and humidity from today, I'll give you all the updates with our full weather forecast coming up after the break.
2, 1.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
Here at the Walter Cronkite School, students produce award-winning content that focuses on health disparities in underserved communities and how to turn things around. In Cronkite News and Cronkite Noticias, students cover stories that affect people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, people with disabilities, and others across the Southwest.
We highlight big problems that are often overlooked in communities that are underserved.
Those stories not only inform and educate people about the challenges, but we work hard to highlight potential solutions. In the Cronkite Agency, students work to connect with community members through social media campaigns in English and Spanish.
Being a Hispanic myself, it's nice to be able to give back to my own community.
Find more of our health coverage at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Ice-based activities aren't exactly common in the desert. Even more unusual, sports that use equipment like sweepers and stones.
But curling has found some popularity outside of the icy north. In fact, I got to visit a clinic teaching the unique sport to new athletes here in the desert. Curling is described as shuffleboard on ice. Each team has 8 stones and plays 6 games known as ends. The rules of wheelchair curling are similar to the regulation game, only these players use specially designed sticks to help lead the stone without sweeping or sweepers.
We have to be more precise, and the chair has to be in a stationary position while delivering the stone.
There's a lot of technique for playing any sport on ice, and for 6 weeks this summer, Ability 360 hosted wheelchair curling clinics at the Coyotes Curling Club to teach people how to curl.
The challenge of throwing I don't want to say a perfect stone, but a good stone to where it's going to curl, land in the house, maybe take out a rock, do something like that.
Tim Surrey helped introduce wheelchair curling 7 years ago when he and other folks at Ability 360 wanted to try out the sport. Surrey says it started out as a work get-together to learn how to curl.
Just started doing some of the curling clinics and more, and then eventually lead into this to where we actually have 8 people, which is a perfect number. It's 4-on-4 on the ice, so we get some pretty good numbers.
McDonald has been a part of the Coyotes Curling Club and started coaching the clinic after Ability 360 reached out to him. McDonald says going from competitor to coach has been amazing.
Seeing some of the people that come through the front door with whatever impairment that they have, a good imagination, and the knowledge of the game, we can get anybody out there to deliver a stone.
McDonald says that one thing that steers people away from curling is the fear of falling. But he says there's no need to worry as long as you have the right equipment. Wheelchair curlers have to make sure that their tires are cooled before going on the ice.
When you first go out, sure, if you try to push pretty quick, you'll slip and slide. But so that's why I have all the participants roll up and down. And then once the tire rubber cools down, you can push normal and the rubber grips the ice. you're good to go.
Heather Hoffmeister has been throwing stones as a part of Ability 360 for 5 years and says it has allowed her to learn how to curl and make friends.
You just have to do it in your own way. And wheelchair curling lets you curl. But yeah, you might have to use a stick or something like that. But you still get to have the fun.
The club is always looking for new members no matter the ability. The ice is always cool. In Tempe, Katrina Villarreal, Cronkite News. Turning now to the weather, rain moved into many parts of the valley on Monday night. So are we likely to see a repeat?
I don't know. Regan Gallo joins us from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect for the rest of the week.
Hey, thanks Taylor and Kat. Yeah, let's look at our evening forecast as you all are heading home from work tonight. We're still going to feel that moisture and dampness throughout the evening with the cloud coverage. And finally at 10 o'clock, we're going to dip into 99. So we're going to feel those high 90s like we're trying to. And as we get into the lows tomorrow on your way to work, 57 in Grand Canyon, 90 in Phoenix, Casa Grande 83, Tucson 81, Bullhead City 90, and Lake Havasu City 93. And for the highs for tomorrow, I'm going to look over here. Window Rock is always a little bit cooler, 86. So that part of the state is going to be nice, 83 Grand Canyon as well. Bullhead City 113, so is Lake Havasu, 110 in Phoenix, and 102 in Tucson. Sedona 92, not too bad, kind of middle of the pack. If you're like me, I was watching the thunderstorms and lightning last night, and I wanted to know when can I get back in my pool. So tomorrow we're still going to have some cloud coverage. That's not going to burn off just yet until Thursday. Beware, we always have chances of thunderstorms, but by Thursday you can enjoy 110 in sun as well as Friday, so you can dip back in that pool and enjoy the cool water. And that takes us to our 8-day forecast. For Wednesday, like I said, we're still going to have that cloud coverage. Thursday and Friday, that's all going to burn off. And then actually as we get into Saturday, we'll have clear skies. Sunday and Monday, those clouds will come back for a bit with a high of 110. Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly sunny, but we're going to see a little remnant of that cloud coverage. That's all I have for you. Kat and Taylor, take it away. This is Regan Gallo at the Cronkite Weather Center.
Diamondbacks fans, you might want to think about swapping those bases for wickets. Cricket, the second most popular sport globally, is gaining traction in the U.S. and here in the Valley. Cronkite sports reporter Marco Radici-Moras has more on cricket's rising popularity in Arizona.
Just over 2 weeks ago, the US men's national team sent shockwaves through the cricketing world by beating one of the giants, Pakistan, in the T20 World Cup. With the US hosting some matches in the international tournament for the first time, more eyes are turning to the sport. Here at Arizona State's West Campus in Glendale, cricket matches are ongoing. Although many people may just be hearing about it for the first time, cricket leagues and associations are nothing new here.
We have been around since 1989. Actually, there was a lot of people have been playing in Arizona for 30 plus years now, right? We are actually a non-profit. We run via clubs. So, and we have been running non-profit all along.
Players we spoke to understand the significance of the US's victory over Pakistan. They recognise the achievement of advancing to the Super 8 phase will attract more attention in America.
Even now on social media, people started noticing that there is a cricket tournament happening here, which most people didn't know until the USA became in the Super 8s. So yeah, I think it's good so that people are going to want to gain more knowledge about the sport, and eventually it'll keep growing like that.
Many note that this is just the beginning and more efforts are needed to continue growing the sport, especially given the tough competition it faces for viewership from popular American sports.
I think with US's success, I think that as long as we have more successes, Americans will slowly start to understand the sport of cricket. And once they start understanding, I think they'll realize how much more fun it could be rather than watching other sports.
Players here say the US men's national team's recent success has raised hopes for cricket's potential in Arizona and across the nation. But what could the future hold?
In future, as we get bigger in Arizona cricket, hopefully we have a lot of talent here. In Arizona, players that can go on and represent US, that would be the ultimate dream.
Although it was impressive for the US to reach the Super 8s phase, they have now been eliminated from advancing to the semi-finals after losing to South Africa, the West Indies and England. In the newsroom, Marco Radici-Moras, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, parents know that keeping their kids busy during the summer can be challenging.
But One Valley program has a way to help. Different behaviors.
I think ultimately it's teaching the parents to be the teachers. So teaching parents about developmental milestones.
After the break, more on how this program is preparing these little ones for the future.
Here at the TV Production and Graphics Lab, we are behind the scenes making the news happen. Gain experience in the control room directing, teledirecting, and rolling the audio of every Cronkite News show. Run the floor and work in a professional environment, honing your skills for the future. Create graphics that will be seen by the local community on Arizona PBS. Be a part of the bloodline that makes the Cronkite News shows possible.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Here at the Walter Cronkite School, students produce award-winning content that focuses on health disparities in underserved communities and how to turn things around. In Cronkite News and Cronkite Noticias, students cover stories that affect people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, people with disabilities, and others across the Southwest.
We highlight big problems that are often overlooked in communities that are underserved.
Those stories not only inform and educate people about the challenges, but we work hard to highlight potential solutions. In the Cronkite Agency, students work to connect with community members through social media campaigns in English and Spanish.
Being a Hispanic myself, it's nice to be able to give back to my own community.
Find more of our health coverage at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Hello, I'm Lucas Metzner with a look at news from across Arizona. A busy section of Interstate 10 was completely shut down on Tuesday because of a problem with a bridge over the freeway. The eastbound lanes of I-10 were closed near milepost 173 south of Chandler. ADOT says the concrete deck on the Gila River Bridge had worn down, and the rebar may need to be replaced. The eastbound lanes remain closed for several hours before being reopened. However, the eastbound lanes will be closed again Tuesday evening at 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning to complete the repairs. Vice President Kamala Harris visited Phoenix on Monday to mark the second anniversary of the Supreme Court overturning of Roe v. Wade. The Vice President held the campaign event on the west side of Phoenix and used the event to talk about abortion rights. This is the third visit by a politician in the last few weeks. Former President Donald Trump held a rally at the Dream City Church a few weeks ago. And First Lady Jill Biden held rallies in Phoenix and Tucson in recent weeks. Learning during the summer months can be hard, especially when schools are closed. Taylor Mazok tells us about one organization that is helping families around the valley prepare young kids for school and educate their parents at the same time.
Let's play school.
For Sunny and Lily, school is a new thing, and conquering it can be scary. And the same thing goes for their mom, Michelle. This is where parent educators like Alex Davis step in.
So we were working on school readiness. Lily has a big transition coming up, going into a preschool. And so then the next step will be kindergarten. And so that's the ultimate goal, is kindergarten readiness.
Locally, the Parents as Teachers program is run by the Arizona Children's Association. Parent educators visit families at home to teach parents about child development, including looking for any developmental delays.
I was worried in particular with my son's speech initially, and they were able to kind of show us like the guidelines and kind of talk about strategies where I could help.
What's your name?
Since many of the children the program works with were born during COVID, their developmental years were spent inside the home or behind a mask.
Especially as like a mom, I feel like a lot of people have support. You know, they go to baby groups, they could do a lot of things. I didn't have a lot of that. So when they were able to come inside our home, which at the time didn't feel like anyone was ever allowed to do, they were able to help us through a lot.
Davis typically visits families once a week and spends about an hour with them working on play learning, communication, and how to address different behaviors.
I think ultimately it's teaching the parents to be the teachers. So teaching parents about developmental milestones, activities they can do. If they're not meeting milestones, what ways can we help partner with them to help the kids meet those milestones?
There you go. Very good. Good work.
Ultimately, if the parents know more, so will their children. In Phoenix, Taylor Mazok, Cronkite News.
Parents as Teachers is free for any parents with children ages 0 to 5. They can even begin the education process during pregnancy. Taking a look at news from across the country. The U.S. Surgeon General declared gun violence as a public health crisis. Dr. Vivek Murthy announced the news advisory on Tuesday and said more needs to be done to stop gun violence. He is also calling on more gun laws, including a ban on assault weapons and universal background checks.
Reach the point where gun violence is the leading cause of death among kids and teens. The leading cause of death. That is something that we should never take as the new normal. There's nothing normal about that. But I also want people to understand through this advisory that the impact of gun violence is far more far-reaching than we may think. 6 in 10 Americans are worried about a loved one being shot. Half of our kids are worried about a shooting in their school.
Now to Minnesota, where there are fears a dam could fail because of massive amounts of rain. Officials in southern Minnesota are worried that the Rapidan Dam is very close to collapsing. Heavy rain has caused flooding all over the area, threatening homes and even a famous business known as the Dam Store, which has served homemade pies since 1910. And further south, rising water has caused a railroad bridge to collapse in South Dakota. The bridge spanned the Big Sioux River, but collapsed after weeks of rain. The good news, officials say the river finally crested after rising nearly 45 feet. And that does it for tonight's news headlines. I'm Lucas Metzner, and now back to Kat and Taylor at the desk.
Thanks, Lucas. Coming up after the break, calling all Jeopardy fans.
There's a new U.S. postage stamp featuring a Jeopardy phrase. After this break, we'll tell you about the inspiration behind this forever stamp.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut. Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
The legendary host of Jeopardy will soon be honored by the U.S. Post Office.
That's right. A new forever stamp will be released on what would have been Alex Trebek's 84th birthday. Trebek passed away in 2020 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. The new stamp, to be released next month, honors Trebek with a look familiar to many Jeopardy fans. Quote, "This naturalized U.S. citizen hosted the quiz show Jeopardy for 37 seasons." The question, of course, who is Alex Trebek? The stamp will be released on July 22nd.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Katrina Villarreal.
And I'm Taylor Mazok. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.